It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, today I have AJ Baggott from RJ Young out of Nashville, Tennessee. But folks, they're not just in Nashville. RJ Young is in 9 states. They have 30 locations, about 600 employees. And RJ Young's doing some interesting things in the marketplace because they're changing the way they go to market. Actually, they've already changed. They've already pivoted. AJ, let's talk about services and RJ Young. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, Ray. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it. We've been talking a lot offline, so I'm excited to get on the end of the day with Ray.
Well, I appreciate having you. You know, that digital intersection I talk about, I meet a lot of folks there, so it's great to finally get you on the end of the day with Ray. AJ, you know, you come out of the finance sector. You know, I know you were an audit director there at Deloitte. You worked for RJ Young when you started about 6 years ago as their CFO. Now you're their COO. Congratulations on that.
Thank
But,
you.
you know, AJ, we're in some tough times, and obviously that business acumen around finances is not only important for the company that you work for, but it's also important for the companies you seek to get business from. You guys pivoted into this services-based business, and I want to talk a little bit about that because our friends, you know, when they hear the word services, they automatically think about IT services. Most of them do that completely dysfunctionally, but there's a whole lot more services involved. So let's talk about that a little bit. What was the key factor at RJ Young to really make you say, look, what was the slap in the face and when did that happen?
Yeah, I think the big thing for us, Ray, is, you know, you have to understand where your buyers are, right? So the entire world is shifting to a services model, right? I mean, even at home, we want to be able to go online, order something from Amazon and get it 2 days later, right? That's more about the service than the product. I mean, there's times where you pay more on Amazon for the service and the convenience than what you're paying if you were to go down to Walmart. And so that's really a cultural shift, in my opinion, and I think that's where our buyers are heading. And so as we started to see that, you know, we're not going to be selling a commoditized product during a pandemic, but what can we do for our customers? Well, you know, nobody's in the office. How are they going to get their mail? How are they going to print the jobs that they need to print for marketing materials that are getting shipped out? Direct mailing and things of that nature. So what we did was we took all of the infrastructure we had at RJ Young, and we've been able to provide services for our customers that really allow them to outsource a lot of those business processes to us in a safe and secure way. And so it's really taken the existing infrastructure of our copier dealership that has already transitioned into managed IT and transitioned into all of these other services and find these other business processes that we have expertise in that our customers are willing to pay for. And that's what we've been able to execute so far during the pandemic.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, the biggest complaint of all the dealerships when you try to move that engine into these service-based models is, well, you know, how do we pay the reps? How do we compensate our sales team? They're used to selling products. And so can you tell us a little bit about some of the things your sales team did through the pandemic other than combing through the CRM looking for a lease on an A3 machine they could go prematurely upgrade? I mean, how are you guys interacting with your customers during this time?
So it's interesting. So we've actually went out and, you know, I feel like there are times where we can always develop skill sets internally, but there's also times where we really need to go buy expertise. And so we actually invested in the services business during the pandemic. You know, when you see a lot of other companies drawing back and not wanting to try anything, we really took a more aggressive approach and went and hired a couple of folks that have a background in, you know, legal managed services and digital mailrooms and the abilities to do these things that sometimes I think a lot of our customers feel like are outside their reach, but we know that they're not. And so we invested in the talent first and brought that talent on board. And then we really spent a lot of time educating our sales reps. We've got over 100 reps in the field. And so we educated those folks on what to look for with their current existing base, right? And we've been really successful going in and helping our customers understand that, you know, you furloughed all of these folks who are working your mailroom. You may not need them back. And, you know, we can provide these services for you with a level of expertise and a level of technology that they just don't have access to previously. But now we're giving them that access, and we're doing it in a way that is driving a very profitable portion of our business. So we're going to compensate our reps because it's profitable.
That's pretty interesting. How much of your net new business during the pandemic as a percentage was really outside of your legacy A3 deliverable?
Yeah, that's a great question. So The first thing we did was we targeted current customers that we knew had these opportunities,
okay.
right? That's the easier conversation. Check in on them, see how it's going. Hey, I'm not calling you about your copier. Your copier's fine. But look at what else I have to offer that can help you through this pandemic. So we really try to target our current customers first, but the net new business has been huge for us on the managed IT services, on these managed services for facilities management, for outsourced, print. We have a print shop downstairs that has a Kodak Nexpress in it, several C10,000s from Canon, several Ricoh black and white machines. We've got a full functioning print shop, and we've been able to actually acquire a ton of business for our services side of the shop through the pandemic. I would say that we've had a little bit of net new business on the copier side, probably 10% net new relative to where we're used to probably 22 to 28%. But we've had, 300+% increase in managed IT services. We've had an increase of almost 200% on the other managed services that we're offering, the things that I've mentioned to you previously, the outsourced print shop, the outsourced mailroom and digital mailroom. So a lot of opportunity on that front. It's been a huge uptick for us for sure.
This managed, when you guys are doing the facility management around the print shops for some enterprise accounts, I know you have some pretty big accounts down there. Do you bring all that work then to RJ Young's facility and do that, or do you manage the shops that are actually on physical location as well?
That's a great question. It's actually a little bit of both. So for our biggest customer, a huge healthcare customer of ours, we actually manage their print shop on site for all of their color print, and then we do all of their black and white on site for here at RJ Young. So we're very fortunate. The Crump family has done a great job of really being forward looking. So we have 383,000 square feet of space in Nashville. We've built out a commercial print shop. We've got a ton of infrastructure. So we actually take a dual approach, because what that also gives our customers is some built-in disaster recovery. If their print shop goes down, or in the case of one of our customers, they had a COVID outbreak in their own print shop, we brought all their print jobs here for them, and they never missed a beat. So we offer that offsite redundancy that allows them some flexibility. So it's really a mixed approach, Ray. There are some customers where we do 100% of it on their site, but still have our offsite as a backflow for them just in case they need it.
Do you see the market shifting where you're going to see a lot of these enterprise accounts really moving that offsite and partnering with folks like yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Again, what we're trying to tell our customers is we have a level of expertise around these things. We have technology available to us that it really doesn't make sense for them to make that investment if we can do it for them, right? So, back to that kind of financial understanding, a huge hospital corporation doesn't want to focus on a print shop. They want to focus on delivering, patient care. If you've got a bank, they don't want to worry about printing statements. They just want to make sure they're managing their money properly, right? So we're finding opportunities where we can take our technology and our expertise and kind of remove that burden of these other services off of our customers. And we're seeing a great response to that. We're seeing a really great response to that.
Is there anything that just, slapped you upside the face and said, wow, this is huge. I wish we would have done this 5 years ago through this pandemic?
I don't think that you understand really how many customers hate print shops. They hate their own implant print shops. They hate their own mail rooms. And so they haven't really thought about what does that look like taking it off site or taking that and outsourcing it, right? Saying, hey, bring in your people and bring in your processes and you just do it and we aren't going to worry about it. I think if we had done that previously, we could have started building this a little bit sooner. I do think that the digital transformation we're seeing as a result of COVID has really accelerated that process. And so maybe it's good that we didn't know previously because we've been able to kind of meld these two things together.
Sure.
But I think at the end of the day, where we're at with you, we've been really successful because we found that opportunity and we didn't hesitate. I think that a lot of companies are really scared to make a decision and invest and move forward in this environment. And I'll give a credit to our leadership team. We haven't done that. We've been very proactive and we've invested in where we thought we needed to go.
Well, that's good. If you look at that production space, I do a lot of videos. I'm a little critical of it when I see it splattered all over the marketplace by, dealers that shouldn't be really in the space. or they're running around talking about TCO when you're in a production environment of a hospital. They don't really give a crap about 0.002 being cheaper. But I think as those volumes do decrease, you are going to see a lot more activity going to that facilities management. And that will, and I think it will go off-site. They're going to recapture some of that real estate as well. So that's a big home run. And you can provide that service in all of your states, all 9 states?
Yeah, so we actually have been so pleasantly surprised with the expansion. We're actually looking at adding a secondary location for offsite down in our Jackson, Mississippi area. So, and then also, again, back to investment, we've seen tremendous growth in the Birmingham market. It's up over 100% from last year already this year during a pandemic. So we actually just invested in a new facility there. So, yeah, we can offer it everywhere. We offer the facilities management everywhere. We can offer that offsite redundancy out of Nashville for all of our locations, all 30 locations. But we're also going to invest in some additional facilities across our footprint just to make it a little more convenient and geographically convenient for our customers.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Okay, AJ, you know I'm the guy that started that A4 revolution. I'm a big A4 fan. How's RJ Young's attitude on A4?
Yeah, you know, Ryan, you and I have talked about this, and I think it's great that you're doing that. And, you know, we've talked to our manufacturers about that. I think it's, you know, the way we treat it is it's inevitable. Mm-hmm. There's an inevitable shift that's coming. And so you're either going to be on the front end of it and take everybody else's A3 business from them, mm-hmm. or you're going to be on the back end of it. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, especially in a lot of our emerging markets, you know, we're going in and having that A4 conversation with the customers, right? You know, we're going in and saying, you don't need A3 devices. Let us save you some money. Let us get you a proper layout. If you're printing some 11 by 17, we'll put a couple there for, you know, accounting or whoever needs a big sheet printed. But otherwise, let us help you make a transition into an A4 environment. And you know, we've gone into an unlimited program. You know, I've talked about using data to make sure that the unlimited programs are based in facts and datas. And, mm-hmm. you know, the reality is clicks are continuing to decline. So if we're locking in unlimited rates today, you know, that contract 5 years from now is in a lot more profitable position without escalations.
It's like my buddy Westbrook Carter always says, why in the hell do we want to tie our revenue to a declining number? But right. you know, AJ, bottom line is it works for RJ Young. You're able to sell based on customer realities because you have other things to offer. And if you pigeonhole yourself into this old 1980, 90 A3 program, that's all you're going to do. And obviously, dealers need to make money. If they can sell A3, sell A3. But you have to understand where the customers are going. It sounds like RJ Young's doing that extremely well. It's exciting to hear that story. I want to have you on again, AJ, you know, and,
absolutely.
And I look forward to coming down there and visiting y'all as soon as we can get out of our dens.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, Ray. You're welcome anytime, my friend.
Is there anything you want to add before we end?
Just want to thank you for what you're doing. I think that, you know, your messaging for the channel is important, and I hope that people are listening. I certainly think that it adds value, and, you know, as we move forward, I think if we consider ourselves a copier dealership, that we're all going to be doing ourselves a pretty big disservice. So we have to make the transition into services, and I think that, you know, you're out there preaching that gospel, and I think that I hope everybody's listening to it. So you're doing a great job with that.
Well, I appreciate that, AJ, and it's good to hear a story of someone that's doing it successful. Because, AJ, we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.